will bedwetting go away? That's a question I hear very often, and the answer that everyone loves to hear is, well, that depends. And what I mean by that is most of the time I see bedwetting as a product of neurodevelopment. So, like brain development and your frontal lobe development. And the reason for that is because your brain is what communicates with your bladder and your bladder muscles on how to function. So, if your bladder muscles are not working efficiently and they're relaxing at night and it's causing bedwetting, you need to improve the connection between the brain and the bladder. And if the frontal lobe or your micturition centers or your autonomic nerve system are not as developed as they should be, then that's going to cause a lot of issues with bedwetting. So that's why you hear a lot of kids will be able to grow out of it, is because their nervous system, their frontal lobe, their brain eventually gets developed enough to where that issue goes away. But the problem with that kind of wait and see, and they'll probably grow out of it, is I don't know if that's going to happen in 2 days or if that's going to happen in 10 years. I mean, my recommendation is always improve their neurodevelopment right now and just help them with that bedwetting right now, because it's already traumatic for them and the family. And also, when you improve neurodevelopment, you're going to improve focus and concentration in school, their ability to read and communicate and regulate their emotions and their temperament and their behavior. I mean, all these good things come from improved neurodevelopment. So I always tell parents to start developing the brain, the frontal lobe, and their neurodevelopment to help with bedwetting. And not only that, but tons of other things. And probably the quickest way that you can tell if your child's frontal lobe is a little bit underdeveloped is if they have retained primitive reflexes. These are reflexes that we're all born with, so we have them as a baby. And by about the first year of life, they should go away. But if you still hold on to them, it means that the frontal lobe is not shutting down those reflexes, which is saying that it's probably underdeveloped. So I always look for primitive reflexes first. So I'm going to show you some of the common ones I see. So the first primitive reflex I always check for is an asymmetrical tonic neck reflex. And this is where a child's going to be on their hands and knees, and you're just going to gently turn their head from side to side, and you're seeing if their opposite elbow bends out. And if they do, that means they still have this asymmetrical tonic neck reflex and they still have primitive reflexes, which means that their frontal lobe is probably a little bit underdeveloped, which is what we need to start to address. The second one that can have a little bit more to do with bedwetting specifically is a spinal galant. So if you find that your child is struggling with bedwetting and they have these primitive reflexes, I would start doing exercises at home that are focused on getting rid of these primitive reflexes. And I actually made a whole manual for neurodevelopment, and the first stage of it is getting rid of primitive reflexes. So if you ask for a sample of that manual, I will send it to you, and it'll give you all the primitive reflex exercises you need to start them on this neurodevelopment journey. Just direct message me or email me the word bedwetting and your email address, and I will send that to you so that you can start helping your child with their bedwetting issues.